Our chickens are the reason why I got sent to the hospital. We have been raising chickens for over 4 years now and have never had to worry about any kind of health issues because of our chickens. Well, that finally changed for us. So on top of my recent diagnosis of ulcerative colitis, I have been used to being going to the hospitals here these last couple months. But my chickens a couple weekends ago sent me to the hospital for 2 nights, and that's all because of one word that we see all over the news: salmonella. So these things right here are the reason why I got sick. And I don't want to go back to the hospital for the same reason. If anyone's ever had food poisoning or salmonella before, let's just say it wasn't fun, and on top of my own gut issues I have going on, now I need to figure out what do we do from here to prevent this from happening again. Here's a few tips for any chicken owners that might have gotten salmonella from their own flock. Here's what you can do. So the first thing that you can do is try to improve their food and water. And what I mean by that is not better food or better water sources necessarily, but what you can add into it to help fight any kind of parasites or any kind of bugs that your chickens might have inside them and help try to cleanse them out. For water, it's just one simple addition that you can put into it. We've done this in the past, but we haven't done it in a few months. But now you bet I'm gonna be doing it. Apple cider vinegar. This is not something that's a secret. It's not something that it's really hard to find. You can find this at all your grocery stores really easily. And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to get a cap full of apple cider vinegar, and I'm just going to pour it in about 2 gallons of water. You could probably do about 2 capfuls for 2 gallons. So just, if you know how much water your water container holds, that's all you need, just a splash. A capful I know is not a true measurement, but it's probably about, what, a teaspoon, maybe about 2 teaspoons, so it's not much. And then just do a good little mix. And just like that, the water is fine. So now let's say what you can add to your feed. For their feed, if you look online, herbs are gonna be your best friend for things that can help clean out your chickens and make them feel better and just try to get out any kind of parasites and bugs they got. The 2 that I'm gonna use is rosemary and oregano. Those seem to have the best anti kind of bacterial. This, I don't have a very good thing, so I'm just gonna put a pinch. Maybe 2 pinches. And do the same. So you can either add these to your bag of chicken feed or your containers, or just keep them around so that every time that you feed your chickens, this is stuff that is getting into their feed. And these 2 things for their feed and water should help try to clear them out. And it's 2 simple things that you can do. So hopefully this keeps me out of the hospital. Your next tip is cleanliness. You want to make sure that your chickens are in a nice clean environment. So that means their coop, and that means their run. And those will be your 2 main spots that you want to make sure are super clean for your chickens, especially if that's where they are kind of more confined to. Inside our coop, if you look around, you can see we have a chicken. Hi, chicken. But we have a pretty clean coop. It's really not too poopy. We could probably get ready to clean it, but it's not too bad. And that's because luckily for us, our chicken run, our chickens have been roosting up on it at night. So they haven't been pooping as much inside the coop. And here is good because this run is all aired out. So even if they are pooping in here, they're walking around in it, but they don't stay in here because our chickens get the free range. You can see there's a lot over here. I got one by my feet. And then they have all this area here to roam about. So cleanliness is not the one that I'm more worried about. They're out in fresh air, they're out on fresh grass. They're really not very poopy inside their coop. So that's gonna take us to the very 3rd thing that you should do to prevent this from happening to you. The last thing that I knew that I could have done differently to prevent this is that for our chicken eggs, although They can sometimes look really clean on the outside surface. You see this one has a little bit of dirt, but there's definitely times that we've had dirtier eggs and eggs that aren't as clean. So you might be like us and you might store your eggs not in the refrigerator. As you can see, these ones up here on the shelf, yeah, it's getting to that hard part of the season where chickens aren't laying as much. And you might store them not in the fridge, or you don't wash them. Even though you can store them unwashed, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't wash them before you use them. And I will admit, there is definitely times that I've gotten lazy and I will grab an egg. These ones are unwashed and in the fridge, by the way. I'm starting to like that better. I feel like the yolk stays nice and firm, and they last longer actually unwashed and in the fridge. I'm trying to show you guys a dirtier egg. I guess this one right here. You can see it has a little bit here of some straw that was stuck to it. So even though they look pretty clean, and although yes, you can store them unwashed, we can be lazy, and sometimes I forget to wash them, or I look at them and they're clean enough and I just crack them and put them in a pan. The shell can still contain some kind of bacteria to them. That's why I like putting them in the fridge actually, because I kind of try to kill off a little bit of that. But also, those little pieces of shell can sometimes fall in your eggs, and that is actually what happened that day that I made that thing, is that when I cracked the egg, that some of that shell fell in there and I thought nothing of it. So there might have been a lot that played into me getting sick. If you need to wash eggs, we have this fancy egg scrubber from Good Egg, and this, you look, you put the egg inside it right here, and you're gonna do a little bit of twisting and turning. Obviously it works better over water. And you do this, and this works out really well. I'm gonna show you guys here as I do it. Turn the water on, get both things a little wet, and then you just kind of twist and turn here, and this will clean the egg. And it's just a nice silicone, which really scrubs off any kind of particles, poop, anything that might be on the egg really well. And now you're gonna be ready to cook and eat with this thing. Look how shiny and clean this egg is. We don't use it all the time. Usually we just use hot water, but they do have an enzyme wash too. I don't know, it says it's a natural enzyme cleaner. We've used it in the past for really dirty eggs, but most of the time, just some hot water and this scrub is really all you need to do. Don't let the fear of a lot of news things that try to scare people away from having backyard chickens, like salmonella outbreaks and bird flu outbreaks and whatever else that they always say, because all they're trying to do is they don't want people to have this for themselves. They don't want people to have good nutrition. They don't want people to prevent themselves from going to the grocery store and relying so much on all these outside sources. This is me coming to you, even with this happening to me, saying that this isn't gonna scare me away from having chickens. I'm gonna continue to do it. I'm just gonna find a better solution and learn from my mistakes once again. And other than that, I think it's still perfectly fine for you to have backyard chickens, and I think that everyone should try to if you can. So moral of the story, cleanliness, wash your eggs, and maybe don't eat raw egg that is thawed out in like a very lukewarm temperature for a long time, because that's not going to do very good for your gut or your belly. Trust me, I know. All right guys, my bunny and my rooster and this other chicken tell you guys, we appreciate you guys always for watching us. We thank you guys so much for the constant support. Nevertheless, I will bring health and healing to it. I will heal all my people, and I will let them enjoy abundant peace and security. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. God bless.